Be honest with yourself for a moment. Not the polite honesty you offer others. Not the version of truth that keeps you comfortable, but the raw honesty that whispers to you late at night, when everything is quiet. How often do you say you are tired, when what you really mean is that you are afraid to move forward? How often do you use exhaustion as a shield, a soft excuse that sounds reasonable, respectable, even responsible, but quietly keeps you exactly where you are? This is not about denying that the body gets weary. The body does get tired. Muscles ache, eyes grow heavy, and rest is necessary. But there is a deeper fatigue that has nothing to do with sleep and everything to do with resistance. It is the tiredness of standing at the edge of your own potential and refusing to step forward. It is the weariness of carrying the same story about yourself for years and calling it truth. You are not tired of life. You are tired of the life you keep repeating. Growth demands something uncomfortable. It asks you to let go of who you think you are so that you can discover who you actually are. And the mind does not like this. The mind prefers what is familiar, even if the familiar is painful. The known misery feels safer than the unknown freedom. So the mind says, I am tired. Not now, maybe tomorrow. Let me rest a little longer. And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And suddenly you wake up wondering where the time went. The truth is simple, but it is not easy to accept. Most of the time, when you say you are tired, you are avoiding growth. Growth is not loud. It does not announce itself with fireworks or applause. Growth feels awkward. It feels like not knowing who you are anymore. It feels like questioning beliefs that once gave you comfort. It feels like standing alone for a while because the old version of you had company, and the new version has not arrived yet. This in-between space is where most people turn back. They mistake the discomfort of transformation for exhaustion. They think something is wrong with them, when in reality, something is finally happening. Consider how often you have energy for the things that distract you. You are tired, but somehow you can scroll for hours. You are exhausted, yet you can binge watch shows late into the night. You have no motivation, but you can replay old conversations, old regrets, old fantasies again and again in your mind. Notice this carefully. Energy is not missing. Direction is. Energy follows meaning. When something matters deeply enough, fatigue becomes secondary. Think of a child absorbed in play, unaware of hunger or time. Think of someone in love, losing sleep without complaint. Think of an artist who forgets the world while creating. They are not stronger than you. They are simply aligned with what calls them. When you avoid growth, you live in a constant state of low-grade exhaustion. Not because life is demanding too much, but because you are suppressing something essential. You are holding back your own expansion, and that tension drains you far more than effort ever could. There is a strange paradox here. The life you avoid is the very life that would energize you. Growth is not about becoming someone better in the way society defines better. It is not about chasing approval, success, or perfection. Growth is about becoming more honest, more present, more willing to meet life as it is, instead of how you wish it would be. The reason growth feels heavy is because it threatens the identity you have built. The identity that says, this is just how I am. This is my limit. This is my story. But identity is not who you are. Identity is a habit. It is a collection of thoughts repeated so often that they feel solid. You are not obligated to be who you were yesterday. Let me share a simple real-life example. There was a man who worked the same job for over a decade. Every morning he said he was tired. Tired of the commute, tired of the routine, tired of the pressure. He believed he was burnt out, that life had drained him dry. But on weekends he felt a strange restlessness. He was not relaxed. He was bored. Deep down, he knew he wanted to change careers, to do something that felt more aligned with who he had become. But the idea scared him. The uncertainty felt overwhelming. So he called it exhaustion. He stayed, and the tiredness grew. Eventually, circumstances forced his hand. The job ended. And in the chaos of starting over, something unexpected happened. He felt alive again. He worked harder than ever, learned new skills, faced rejection, and struggled financially for a time. But he was no longer tired in the same way. The exhaustion that had haunted him vanished, replaced by a sense of engagement. The tiredness was never about effort. It was about resistance. Another example is quieter, but just as powerful. A woman stayed in a relationship that had long since lost its truth. She said she was tired all the time, emotionally drained, unmotivated. She blamed stress, age, circumstances. But what she was really tired of was pretending. Pretending she was happy. Pretending she did not feel lonely while sitting next to someone. Leaving felt terrifying. Being alone felt like failure. So she stayed, and the tiredness deepened. When she finally chose honesty over comfort, the first months were painful. There were tears, doubts, sleepless nights. But beneath it all was a strange lightness. Even in grief, she felt more awake. The fatigue that once defined her life slowly lifted. She had not needed more rest. She needed more truth. This is what avoidance looks like. It disguises itself as fatigue, procrastination, confusion, and lack of motivation. But underneath there is usually a simple knowing. A quiet voice that says, something needs to change. Growth does not always mean dramatic external action. Sometimes growth is internal. It is sitting with uncomfortable emotions instead of numbing them. It is questioning the beliefs you inherited without examining. It is allowing yourself to feel sadness without immediately trying to fix it. It is admitting you do not know who you are becoming and letting that be okay. The mind wants certainty. Growth offers none. Growth says, walk without guarantees. And the mind responds, I am tired. But look closely. What if tiredness is not the enemy? What if tiredness is the signal that you have been living half-heartedly? What if it is the body and soul saying, this old way no longer fits? When a snake sheds its skin, the process is not comfortable. The old skin feels tight. Movement becomes difficult. If the snake could speak, it might say it is tired. But the discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that growth is already underway. You are not broken for feeling this way. You are not lazy. You are not weak. You are simply at a threshold. Most people spend their lives trying to get rid of discomfort, not realizing that discomfort is often the doorway. They medicate it, distract from it, analyze it endlessly. But growth asks for something else. It asks for presence, for courage, for a willingness to stay with the feeling instead of running from it. Ask yourself gently, without judgment, what am I avoiding right now? Not what should I do, not how do I fix everything, but simply what am I avoiding? You might be surprised how clear the answer is. You do not need to force growth. Forcing is just another form of resistance. Growth happens naturally when you stop lying to yourself, when you stop saying you are tired and start saying, I am afraid, or I am unsure, or I do not know what comes next. These statements are alive. They open doors. Tiredness closes them. There is also a cultural story that glorifies exhaustion. Being tired has become a badge of honor. It means you are busy, important, needed. But busyness is not the same as meaning. You can be exhausted and completely lost. You can also be deeply engaged and surprisingly energized, even when life is demanding. Real rest does not come from escape. It comes from alignment, from living in a way that feels honest, even if it is challenging. This is why doing the inner work, as people like to call it, is often more tiring at first than avoiding it. Facing yourself requires energy, but it is a clean energy. It leads somewhere. Avoidance drains you endlessly because it has no resolution. Notice how your body feels when you imagine taking one small step toward what you have been avoiding. Not the whole journey, just one step. There may be fear, but there is often also a subtle sense of relief. A quiet yes. That yes is your compass. You do not need to overhaul your life overnight. Growth is not a performance. It does not need an audience. It begins in small, almost invisible shifts. Saying no when you usually say yes. Speaking honestly when you would normally stay silent. Allowing yourself to rest without guilt. And to act without overthinking. And yes, there will be days when you are genuinely tired. Rest then. True rest is sacred. But learn to tell the difference between rest and retreat. Rest restores you. Retreat shrinks you. If this message is resonating with you, take a moment to support this work. Liking this video helps it reach others who might need this reminder. And it helps motivate us to keep creating content like this. Your simple action carries more impact than you might realize. You are not behind in life. You are not late. You are right on time for your own awakening. The discomfort you feel is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that you are outgrowing an old version of yourself. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a myth the mind invents to delay change. You become ready by moving. Clarity follows action, not the other way around. Instead of asking, "Why am I so tired?" try asking, "Where am I resisting life? Where am I choosing familiarity over truth? Where am I shrinking to stay safe?" The moment you stop calling avoidance tiredness, something shifts. Responsibility returns to your hands, not as blame, but as power. You realize that you are not a victim of low energy. You are a participant in your own becoming. Life is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be present, to show up honestly, even when you do not know the outcome. Especially then, the tiredness you feel is not a flaw. It is an invitation to step out of the waiting room of your life and into the living of it. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I am tired," pause. Listen more closely. You might hear a deeper truth underneath. And if you are brave enough to follow that truth, you may discover that what you thought was exhaustion was actually the first stirrings of growth.